Fill me afresh, oh God. Fill me afresh, oh God. Fill me afresh, oh
Come and ask your questions, share your concerns. Experiencing Life on 657 AM.
That's where you're at. It is Radio Pulpit, your daily companion. You're on 657 AM. And this is just for you, with you up until 11 o'clock. Gave you the sounds of Nozi Po AJ, and she is featuring sounds of Destiny. Pour Out Your Spirit is the song we gave to you. And before that, we gave you Smokey Nuffle with the song Don't Quit. 11 minutes, it is just after 10. I'm excited. Number one, I'm excited because right now as we speak, we are launching Radio Council Hartlang. It's happening now. So you can just log on and listen to Radio Pulpit, Jigelele, or Radio Kansel Hartlang. It's happening now. We are launching the 2 online radio stations. We are excited about it as Radio Pulpit. And that's my part 1. My part 2 is that we are back again with our dietitian, and Vusi Sape. We're talking about why do people eat junk during winter, and this leads to weight gain and increased risks of communicable diseases. And Sape, good morning.
Good morning, Osubongile, and our beautiful listeners, our family.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to get me back.
No. I love the fact.
Excited
yeah. And I'm so glad that you also corrected yourself. You're like, listeners, and you're like, oh, family.
Family, our family.
So in that most of us, we love our soup right now. We love our chocolate drinks. We love our coffees. We love all sorts of heavy, rich, body double cheese, body double what.
Yeah.
We love all of that during winter season, and we're picking up weight. And last time when we were talking to you, Linda De Mashakeni, when he was here, I remember him mentioning that during this time, he even struggles with waking up and also going to the gym. That is the hardest part when it comes to this time of the season for him. But he eats and eats and eats, and he eats all the rich and all the beautiful, all the nice things that are there. So, let's go back just a little bit for somebody who was not with us last week when we were talking about this and started from scratch because... I'm just from the launch right now. I had to come out from the launch, and there were some nice goodies right there. And I understand, and now I also want the figure. But it's winter.
That's true.
So I know that there are psychological reasons why we eat junk during this time. There are mental reasons why we eat like this. So let's go back just a little bit for somebody who was not there here with us.
No, thank you so much, Osbongile, for that. And of course, yes. Last week we spoke a little bit about the physical factors and the psychological factors that are actually involved in making us to eat more junk in winter, and just to explore a little bit around physiological factors and reasons. For that, we spoke that staying warm, normally sometimes our body use more energy to keep us warm,
Yeah.
So this actually makes us more hungry, and we crave for foods that are high in sugar and fat because of they are very quick in getting the energy in, and also eating warm also a little bit makes you, to get like it to be warm, So also we explored that sometimes because of genetics still plays a very pivotal role in terms of, our instinct. That we still believe that our bodies still have those instincts to say that we need to eat more in winter to make sure that we store, like ants, what ants will do in summer.
Yeah.
Collect more food to store so that in winter, if there's no food, they can still be able to, provide themselves with energy. So also our bodies, they tend to have those instincts and genetical factors that they can still make us to eat more so that we can store that fat. And then, like, your animals will do before they go hibernating as well. So there's going to be a less of sunlight now. And we know that in winter, the day is very short, So in winter, we get less sunlight, which means we're going to have less vitamin D. And that is the most important mineral.
Okay.
Of course, it slows down our metabolism and make us feel very tired. So we might not feel like exercising, cooking, anything, because you get like, imagine if you are tired and you've got to stand and cook. You always want to get those quick fix methods, And exploring the two important hormones, the serotonin and the melatonin. So less sunlight affects our brain chemicals. I'm going to say brain chemicals, but I don't want to make it more, challenging for somebody to understand. So just say less sunlight affects our brain chemicals, which can actually lower our serotonin levels. And once your serotonin levels is low, it makes it very difficult for you to control your mood and hunger.
Okay.
And then also low serotonin can make us crave for more carbs and sweets. So more darkness also increases the melatonin, and which can actually make us more hungrier. So of course, some people really don't want to go outside and bask in the sun. It's quite important that if you've got that chance, just go outside and get that vitamin D so that you can actually have that, good energy. Exploring more of your psychological factors, we're going to talk about the keyword comfort eating.
Yeah.
When I talk about this, I laugh a little bit because we tend to, program our minds about certain types of food. So that's why we feel comfortable eating them. So cold weather makes us to feel more cozy. Most of the time, you want to be indoors, you want to be in the blankets. You know what I mean? So junk food, often called comfort foods, they can make us feel more happier. And eating these foods releases those chemicals in the brain to improve our mood. It's to feel like I'm feeling very warm now. I can have that packet of chips and that big bread with double cheese and stuff. It's just only in your mind, So then, of course, less of exercise. It's very difficult, like the Mashaki has mentioned last week. That it's very difficult. It's cold. Some people really can't do their jogs now anymore. So people are usually less active in winter because it's cold outside. Being fewer active means that we burn fewer calories, of course, and we might snack more on unhealthy food. So it's very, very important that we keep the momentum running. I mean, like, it can be cold for a moment, but as soon as you start exercising, you start to feel warm, and your body starts to respond, and then you can actually feel warm, so that you prevent you from eating funny things, And of course, holidays. Winter is like a holiday. Most of the schools are closing. We are indoors, and we tend to go for a lot of celebrations. We have to be careful. And that's where we explore more of your traditional, foods that we normally will encounter in celebrations, and so we have to be careful around that. And then, of course, you know what I mean? Yes. There's different types of traditional, foods that are nice that we grow up with. But it's quite important for one to just be careful when you indulge in that.
Yeah.
Just to get like small portions around. Of course, we're going to explore that later when we talk about what we can do. Your habits, of course. Over time, we develop certain habits, with regards to the foods. So we say when it's cold or during winter, activities like snacking while watch movies indoors, it will be ideal, So we don't want to go outside. You will hardly find people outside. So they just feel like, if you can just grab something, then we come indoors. Then say, that song that says, when it's cold outside, it's warm inside. People just want to hibernate. But when we hibernate, we have to be careful of what is it that we have in our kitchens and what is it that we do in our kitchens, of course. Yeah.
All right. I'm guilty because yesterday I just felt like poto and mafi. Yeah. And then I prepared that for
nice,
the whole
you liked it, right?
Very.
I hope you didn't add a lot of sugar.
Ooh, I'm my father's daughter. You know, my mom doesn't eat
Oh my
sugar, but
God.
I'm my father's daughter. So I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Before we continue, and that is happy,
Mm.
there is a question
Yes.
from a family member, Janice,
Okay.
and she says, Morning to Spongile and the dietitian. I'm in my mid 60s. I am losing so much weight. My blood tests show that
Mm.
I'm glucose intolerant. I was told that because I am an older person, I need to eat more protein. So, can you suggest more foods that I can eat? I need more muscle around my body.
Yes, that's a very good question. Especially when we go above 50, there's something what we call sarcopenic obesity.
Okay.
It's something that where a lot of old people just tend to have muscle degradation, whereby their muscles are getting down, So they're losing a lot of muscles. That's why you can see their skin is no longer that intact. And then tends to lose that tenderness and becomes more like weak. And maybe sometimes you see that their skin is a little bit shrinking as well. So it's very, very important that we need to include a lot of proteins, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to also be wary that is there any other underlying conditions that are there. For instance, I would say if somebody had, like for instance, a kidney problem, we might not want to include a lot and lots of proteins. Maybe we could limit that to about the size of a palm, which is about 0.8 grams per kilograms when you calculate it. But in a nutshell, it would be like your size of a palm to include that protein in a dish. But of course, we'll then also, utilize your healthy fats to build up on your subcutaneous fat tissues so that we spare now the carbohydrates and the proteins from breaking down, but not including a lot of fats, of course, but only the healthy fats on board. So I think a greater balanced diet will greatly help a lot. But then also just to be careful around some proteins, they might be having a lot of fats, and that could increase your saturated fats, and that can lead to your cholesterol levels. So, for instance, if you have got to eat chicken, you'll then want to remove the skin before you cook it. If it's beef, you want to remove all those white visible fats before you cook it, and that can increase, the protein content, but less of the saturated fats, of course. But I will say maybe highly recommending plant proteins to be included and in her diet.
Mm-hmm.
Your lentils, your range, all the ranges of beans included as well. So that those are more healthier proteins that one can actually include.
Mm.
And of course, exploring further, we might have supplements that we can recommend for her to boost up the muscles and coming back. Of course, a little bit of some weights, small weights, not too heavy weights, please. Just smaller weights can still build up the muscles as well. Yeah.
All righty
Yeah.
then.
So I wouldn't mention what supplements because I don't want to mention any brands now.
No,
But
no.
there are high protein supplements that are there
Okay.
that they can actually assist as well.
All right, let's do this and then continue to talk to you, Ntate Sape.
When a loved one passes, overwhelming emotions can cloud your thinking. The Farewell app puts essential guidance at your fingertips, from funeral arrangements to unveilings and beyond. A step-by-step approach provides structure when you need it most, connecting you with trusted service providers while protecting you from deceitful operators and scammers. Download the free Farewell app today on your preferred app store. Farewell, guidance through emotional times, structure in confusion.
Tsepo manages construction sites, and keeping his bakkie secure is a must. With Titan Secure Smart Engine Lock, tamper detection, and GPS tracking, thieves don't even get a chance. Tsepo saved 495 Rand a month on his insurance, which covers his Titan subscription. As he puts it, now I worry about building, not my bakkie. Stop stressing, start saving. Visit titansecure.co.za now. T's and C's apply.
Funda okuningi, uphile saka, futhi ukhule othandweni. Radio Pulpit 657 AM. Umngani wakho imihla ngemihla.
We are on Just For You with you up until 11 o'clock. I'm Spongile Mufokeng, and at 11 o'clock we say hello to Germany, Yanni Balsa on Perspective. And right now I'm with our dietitian, Vusi Sape. The question is, why do people eat junk during winter? And this leads to weight gain and increased risks of non-communicable diseases. Now, Sape, let's come to finding out what we can do to stay healthy in winter. I mean, most of us, like you say, we take high sugar content food, high salt, high fat, protein, and all that. So, how do we make sure that in the midst of all that, we are still healthy? What are the key factors?
Asbongile for that. And of course, we scared people now. We need to actually, relieve those nerves. All right. So I have actually prepared some of the few tips that can help us to stay healthy in winter. Of course, number one, the main thing is we have to plan your meals ahead. It's very important. Like most of the family members, I've seen also in our household, we tend not to know what to cook the next day,
Yeah.
and that's where we make a lot of mistake coming in there. So we have to plan our meals ahead, prepare weekly in advance, and I think that's where most of your, dietitians will play a pivotal role there to develop a menu plan for the family. It does sometimes doesn't really mean that you've got to really come when you are sick. We are there also to assist with plenary of menus for the family. We take care of the needs of the family, looking at their budgets, the affordabilities. So planning with meals ahead, it really helps a lot because then you know exactly what to eat today and what you're going to eat tomorrow, the snacking things as well. We can include that, of course. And then staying hydrated is quite important because when we don't drink water, we tend to be very dehydrated. There's high prevalence now of renal failure that is happening because a lot of people are not taking water in. So we have to be careful. I know that in winter, sometimes some people really don't want to take water because it's cold, So keep that water at room temperature, make it a bit warm, add a little bit of slice of lemon just to, tend the taste a bit so that you can be able to drink your water because some people feel like, no, taking water as it is really a problem,
Yeah.
So flavoring it a little bit, you can use your slice of cucumbers, you can use your slice of strawberries coming in there.
You know what
you
I
can
thought?
use your slice of
That this
apples, yes.
I
Yes.
thought that when you added all of that, then you
Yes.
turn the water to something else. It's no longer
No,
as
not at
pure
all,
as
not at all.
okay. So I
Actually,
can do that
it just
now.
helps. Yes, it just helps with the flavor so that
Okay.
it can actually help you to drink that water. Because immediately when you put those lemons in,
The
cucumbers,
cucumber.
the strawberries, it changes the flavor, the taste, the smell also, So you still feel like your mind still feels like I'm drinking something nice, but unfortunately, it's
But
just
it's still
water.
100% water. Okay.
Yeah, just 1% will be your flavor, of course.
Okay.
And we can indulge in our tea, rooibos, or whatever tea that you have, herbal teas that you want to have is still okay. Because we normally would say teas are free foods. They don't really add calories to our bodies unless if we add something to them. For instance, if you're going to drink tea and you're going to add milk, then that's how you increase the calories. If you're going to add sugar, that's going to increase the calories. But if you're going to drink it as it is, then it's a free food. Of course, you can start enjoying that. And we have got to incorporate seasonal produce. It's very important now that we need to be aware of what vegetables and fruits are available. But thanks to our farmers and the new technologies that actually they're using, I think all the fruits and vegetables are available now. If you go to the markets, like you go to where you buy your groceries, I'm thinking all the fruits now and vegetables are there.
Yeah.
So we have got to
They
utilize
try.
them a lot.
They try.
Yeah.
I saw there's
course.
another one I was seeing, I think, for the first time. I think they call it a dragon fruit, something like
Dragon
that.
fruit,
Hey,
yeah.
hey.
Very nice fruit. Very nice fruit to indulge in, especially in winter now because it's quite high in vitamin C as well.
But
Because remember, we need to make sure we boost up this immune system, right?
yeah. But there are these ones
there's
that you only find maybe you see them on YouTube in China or you see them in the USA. I'm like, when are we getting this from South Africa? When?
Exactly. Hopefully, sooner or later we're gonna have that. I'm so quite excited because I'm in the agri sector now.
Awesome.
I'm studying to become now a farmer.
Awesome.
An agricultural economist soon. So I think we are exploring a lot as farmers to make sure that we bring these food items close to our
Close to home.
yes, you know what I mean. Yeah. So Of course, there are different types of factors that are still affecting that. Of course, your climate changing and everything. But yeah, we are, as farmers, we are really doing very, very, very hard. That's why every day in the morning we should be able to thank our farmers that they are helping us with this food,
Yeah.
to make sure that we stay healthy. Yeah, of course, moving along, we have to balance our plate. It's very important.
Yeah.
I have a problem with a diet that eliminates certain types of food in your plate. I have a problem with that. So we have to make sure that a diet that starts to eliminate things from your plate. That means is a fictitious diet. We don't really promote that as dietitians. We always strive for balance. We need to make sure that you've got a great balance of your carbohydrates, your healthy fats, your proteins, your complex carbohydrates coming in there, so that you are able to make sure that the plate is balanced. Because if you're going to eat a certain amount of food only for a period of time, then you're going to be deficit in terms of other nutrients, and then that could be a big of a challenge, And that will lead you now to getting to supplementation programs that could be quite expensive to do that. So it's very important to balance your plate. Make sure that you balance your plate, and then stay active. We can enjoy a lot of physical activities that we can do in our households. Like the last time I was telling my patients that, you know what, you don't really have to affiliate with gym. There's a lot of things that you can actually do in your own house, You can run steady, you can do your high jumps, high jerks, you can do your leg raises, you can do your plank, you can do a lot skipping in our household. Just there, somewhere in the garage, you can have your skipping rope doing that. There's no need for you really to go outside. So there's not really a reason to say one might not want to exercise. You can do your push-ups just before you take your shower. Just before you go, there's a lot of things that one can actually do in the household. And good portioning, it's very important. Because remember, now overindulging will lead you to have a lot and lots of weight. I always put example here like a balloon, A balloon actually depends on you how much you inflate air into it.
Right.
So if you're going to put a lot of air, the balloon will start to go big and big and big, and eventually you burst. So what you need to do, be wary of your portion control. It's quite important there. Because when you're looking at our starches, I will always recommend size of your fist will always be your starches, and also including your vegetable starches. And then size of your palm without the fingers will be your protein dish, being that animal or plant. And maybe the whole hand now will be your non-starchy vegetables. Rather fill up with non-starchy vegetables as compared to the starches. Because remember now, there was some time when we talked, if you remember, we talked about if your body takes a lot of energy, the insulin will respond to store that as a form of a fat. So we have to be careful of that. So that's why I'm saying that let's limit a little bit in terms of starch. Don't take a lot of starch. Rather, fill up the plate with a lot of non-starchy vegetables to make you a bit fuller. And maybe sometimes what I can assist is just before you eat, have a glass of water, then eat, and then have a glass of water. And that way, it actually also makes you to reach satiety quickly. Satiety simply means that is the feeling of fullness that you're going to start to feel once you start doing that. Yeah.
All right. I think we need to change even the way we dish up for our children, because I think we have learned from our mothers. Papa ya gago ke yona the BS in the plate. Your starches, your carbohydrates are the ones that are like the biggest in the plate. Then small yana meat yana, and then small yana veggies. So we need to balance that. Have it right. Okay.
Prevention is better than cure. I think when we teach them while they're still young, then they can actually understand that growing up, I've got to eat it in a certain way. Because we still see a lot of like childhood obesity that is still affecting us a lot. And what I've noticed now is that we've got a lot of young hypertension that we've seen. A lot of youngsters now that are getting hypertension. It's quite worrying because we tend to understand. Long time ago, if you remember us when we grew up ourselves, we used to eat and go outside and play.
Yeah.
But now
there's no longer play.
We sit in the couch.
Yeah,
there's no longer play. Yeah. Then there's a lot and lots of weight that comes in there. There's a lot and lots of processed foods that are still coming in as well. So we tend to have a lot of problems in terms of chemical disease of life. They always say you make a very summer body in winter. That's what they say. A lot of people start to say. No, I want to make my weight now and take care of it now, because you'll see that starting towards the end of July, somewhere there, you start to see people now wanting to start to train to lose some weight, and then unfortunately by that time you don't know whether you're going to be having a condition or not.
Ish,
So
yeah.
getting a very good portioning at this point in time will
Okay.
greatly help. Yeah.
Okay. A family member writes in and says, I want to grow a little bit of my weight, but around the hips and around my legs, but not on my stomach. But now I am,
Yes.
I'm gaining from the breast down to my stomach and my hips. How do I make sure that my stomach is still good? Hey,
Okay.
all right.
Hey, yeah, no, that's a good one, of course.
So I think Lois, you're looking for a six pack. Yeah, we want
Yeah,
six packs.
looking for a six pack. No pain, no gain. That's what I could answer. What is important is very important, of course, to look at your body composition. And like enough now, we do have advanced skills that they can actually assist us in showing us exactly what your body is composed of. Like, for instance, weight, it is made up of your bone density, your water balance, your fat, and your muscle. So those scales actually they help us to distribute, to say, okay, what percentage are we looking into? Are we having a lot of fats? Where is the fat distributed? So that at the end of the day, we are able to say, when we tailor a diet, then we know that we don't have to give a lot of fats, but rather give a lot of proteins to build the muscle. So maybe your body is suffering a lot of fat, so we can prevent that and force the process of lipolysis to break down that fat.
Let me
So
ask. Yeah.
what will happen is it will be very important for that person to eat a balanced diet and try to also incorporate your physical activity. But then when you get to physical activity, you've got to be sure what are you training on, because a lot of people, they get to the gym, really don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
So it's very important to say, when you do your squats, you know that it helps you to build up around your curves, your wherever. And then when you do your leg raises, they're going to help you to kill that fat in the stomach. When you do your stomach push-ups, your sit-ups, they're going to work on your abs. When you do a little bit of chest, then it's going to help you to get rid of the breast fat. So it's quite important for you to know exactly what you are doing when you get to the gym. So I
Okay.
think where the physical instructors are actually coming in on board there
Okay.
to assist you to say, what is it that you need to focus on?
All right, I have a question, but let me just, before I do that, let me greet Mam Gidi. Thank you so much. May God bless you, Tanu Ursula Andrew. Goeiemorgen, good morning. Maria, Me Maria Tipe, hello to you. Thank you so much, family, for just joining us and choosing us as your number one station. Janice, hello. So how big should a woman's waist be?
Very good question.
Oh, I'm
So
asking
we
for
have
a
got.
woman, sorry, because Lois is the one who is asking. But maybe if you can tell us both. Let
Oh,
me not be biased.
yes.
I was asking, taking it from Lois' question. Let me not be biased. Let's
Yeah.
look at a woman quickly and then a man's waist.
Of course, yeah. So when we're looking at that waistline, there's something what we call waist hip ratio that you know normally will do as dietitians. So we will measure your waist and then also against your hip, and then we will calculate what we call the waist hip ratio. So then it will determine to say, in male, when the ratio is a bit up, we call that android obesity. That's when now we see that the body fat is accumulated above. And when we say sphenoid obesity, we normally will refer to women. You say most of the fat should be around the curves, not more than to the stomach.
Okay.
So that's what we call women pear shape, and then male will call them apple shapes.
Oh, okay.
So the waistline along, it needs to be anything less than 0.88 when we've calculated it, like 88 centimeters going down for women. And then for males, we are looking at anything also not less than 90 centimeters going down.
Okay.
So we've got to be careful of how we have actually, calculated. So when you go to your dietitian, they will put a waist tape measure along your waist, and then they will also measure along your, what do you call that, hips. so that we can calculate that ratio, and then we can able to see if you are actually above or below. Yeah.
All right. Leonie, we see you. Hello to you too. And family, yes, I think because of our time, you can call in and talk to us with our dietitian and ask your questions. You can also send in your WhatsApps to 082-657-2729. Let me do this one last time. And when we come back from these, I'm going to ask Vusi Sape to just give us some ideas, some winter meal ideas that we can have, because you want to eat and eat some more and eat you want to eat the whole day during winter season. I have somebody very close to me. She will take oats in the morning, and then later on she's got bread with peanut butter, then later on with eggs, then later on, like the whole day she's nibbling on something or she's eating something. So we're wondering if she's doing it right, and maybe you're also asking yourself if you're doing it right. We are coming back in just a jiffy.
Radio Pulpit Jikelele ho etsahala ntho e matla mme ke ya lefatshe lohle. Radio Pulpit Jikelele e fihlile, molaetsa o mong, moya o mong o fihla dipelong tsohle. Lentswe ke le letjha, mollo ke o motjha, molaetsa o mong ke lerato la Modimo bakeng sa ditjhaba tsohle. Dipelo di kopane, tumelo ya tuka, mme sena ke station sa hao. Ho tloha Afrika Borwa ho ya lefatsheng ka bophara ke tshepo e senang meedi. Thea tsebe jwale mme o be karolo ya motsamao jikelele. Radio Pulpit Jikelele, lentswe la tshepo ho phulletsa le lefatshe.
Tune in to Radio Pulpit Jikelele for Christian radio that speaks to the heart. Listen online to Radio Pulpit's new gospel station in English and vernacular languages like Zulu, Setswana, and more. Visit radiopulpit.co.za or download the Radio Pulpit app and click on Radio Pulpit Jikelele to live stream wherever you are.
Hi there, folks. Michael Heath here from Heath and Wenzel Optometrists. We've had the privilege of serving your family's vision needs since 1957 and will continue to offer the best vision solutions, from the latest in diagnostic and lens technology to vision therapy and everything in between. Call Linwood on 012-348-1177 or Linton's Corner on 012-880-8828 to book an appointment. We'll see you there.
We invite you to the United Tour Johannesburg, which will be held on the 21st of June 2025 at Rimmer Bible Church starting at 4 p.m. Tickets from just 300 Rand at Pick n Pay and Boxer or online at webtickets.co.za. We will be under the anointing of Ntokozo Mbambo, Ngube Gombata and Mangaliso as they worship together with Dr. Dumi, Kayam Tetwa and Hle. Come, let's worship together in one voice as one nation, united under God.
Congratulations, Radio Pulpit Jikelele.
Congratulations, Radio Pulpit Jikelele. Congratulations, Radio Council Hartlang. And yes, I said that we are launching today. The launch is happening. So I'm from the launch. I came here and I will be going back to the launch. So you can log in and start listening to Radio Pulpit Jikelele and Radio Pulpit Hartlang. I'm with our dietitian, and Vusi Sape. We are also talking about, we are today addressing this matter. Why do people eat junk during winter? This can lead to weight gain and increased non-communicable diseases. And so right now we are looking at the kind of food that we can have, the meals that we can have during the winter season, the options that we have. Ndade Sape?
Thank you so much, Asbongile. Like you said at the beginning, we need to prevent those non-communicable diseases of lifestyle coming in. So I've actually prepared different options from breakfast until dinner times, and also your snacks between, of course, that we can actually include in our meals on a daily basis. That way, it will help us, to prevent us from getting those communicable diseases of lifestyle, and also boost up our immune system, especially now in winter because we've got a lot of flus coming in. So we need to really make sure that whatever that we put in now, it helps us to boost our immune systems, and we can be able to be, ready to fight back with this lot of viruses that are breaking now, So breakfast options, what can we do? What can we include? We've got different types of options there. So we've got oatmeals or oats, or grains, or wheat picks, or your what do you call that? Sorghum, abele, that we normally will use. We can
Should
use
it be
as-
sour? Should it
either we
be
can
just?
It can be sour. It can be neutral. It depends. If you've got ulcers in your stomach, I wouldn't recommend anything sour because it will increase the acid, But if maybe you're fine, there's nothing wrong with it. You're also not overindulging on it. Like, for instance, too much of a thing is not so good.
Coming back to that.
Just a little.
Coming back to that, sorry for that.
Yes.
Should it be naturally fermented, or should we? Because in the urban areas, I've seen people adding stuff to just make it sour.
Yeah.
But we grew up fermenting it naturally, and we've been taught to do that. So, which one is the best?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is to make sure that we actually ferment it naturally.
Okay.
And I like adding all those and other stuffs that we can add that, because sometimes some people really don't know how much needs to be added, and that can give us a bit of a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to make sure that we include small portions, of course, but make sure that you do it naturally. That way is the best. Yeah, that is the best. I would recommend that, because you don't have any other additives that we add. We always try by all means to run away from processing of our food items. So we can cook that with milk, in oats, whatever, depends whatever you want to include. For instance, if it is oats, you can either do it with milk, and of course you can use your low-fat milk. Some people that are lactose intolerant, they can go for your soya, they can go for your almond milk. We can top it up with some nut seeds to make it more nicer and more heavier burden, so that we can delay the digestive system, not to digest so quick, because if we digest so quick, we can increase now the craving parts, So we need to make sure that we eat something complex so that it can make us to be fuller for a long time. So seasonal fruits like your apples, your pears, you can include that as well as part of your sugar. Instead of using sugar, you can actually use your fruits to put them there, so that they can still give you that nice taste. Whole grain toast, you can use that with your avos. Avos are a very good source of fat. They're very healthy fats that we can include. Poached eggs or scrambled eggs or boiled eggs, you can use your peanut butter, you can use your banana slices, you can use. So make sure that we don't eat boroto. We need to make sure we apply something there, because remember, we don't want that system to start digesting so quick, because when it digests so quick, then we're going to have a problem of saying that I want to eat more again, So some people really in the morning, they prefer like smoothies. So you can still enjoy your smoothies with your oatmeal, with your granola, with your berries coming in, your bananas, your spinach. You can still include your smoothies, because some people, they feel like, no, early in the morning, I don't want to eat a lot, so because my stomach is still a little bit, sensitive. And then sometimes what can happen is you can actually start having some cramps early in the morning when you overindulge. So smoothies much later. And then also some people, they prefer smoothies because they're still within their exercises, and they're still within their weight management programs as well. So it's very, very important that one can still use your smoothies. Of course, your lunch meals, hearty soups. Is winter. We need to enjoy our soups, naturally made. Don't use anything processed, just naturally as it is,
Okay.
You can still enjoy your lentil soups, your bean soup, your chicken vegetable soups, and with your whole grain bread coming in there, or even your normal brown bread. Some they can toast it, some they may not toast it. It depends on how you prefer it, butternut soups, pumpkin soups, we can use them. We go back to your roots, how we used to prepare them long time, Emandu. You know what I mean? So it's very important that one should start going back to the roots and start enjoying the natural way of, eating our meals, and start avoid eating a lot of preservatives and additives inside there, because it can give us a problem. Salads, people can still enjoy their salads made up from tuna or roasted vegetables, because the vegetables are high in fiber, so it would be a bit, heavier, that salad, So you can use any salad of dressing of your choice. Wraps, we can use lots of there's tortillas or something that we call that now. Wraps that we can actually make from whole wheat. We can actually include our protein inside, Mola. Either you use your chicken breast, you can use your fish fillets, you can use your turkey. It depends what kind of proteins you have, and also including other vegetables. You see, it's a lighter, balanced meal, that you can actually enjoy. And then dinner, we can do like your stir fries, made up from chicken or tofu, or maybe you can use your broccolis, carrots, or with a side of maybe a brown rice or maybe a brown pap, or maybe you still include white rice, but maybe mix vegetables as well, so that it doesn't get too over digested. Roasted vegetables, we can include them with our egg, with our chicken. It depends on the affordability and your budget. That's why when you see a dietitian, we normally will prescribe a menu based on your affordability, because that's quite important. If you don't have a good budget, then you might not be able to sustain that particular diet. Vegetable curry, you're gonna enjoy that now. Pichikos, wow, this is what I love a lot. I really melt. Already I'm melting. That's the only difficult part of my job. I cook food every day. I get to be hungry. So traditional stews, they can be made from beef or chicken, including all the seasonal vegetables that are out there. You can cut your potatoes in. You can cut your sweet potatoes in. You can make it so nice. Carrots, to make it very nice. Oh, I'm already, salivating. Of course. And snacks that we can include between our meals, because sometimes it's very important. We eat breakfast and then snack and then lunch and then snack and then supper. So you don't have to make sure that you actually eat only now and then you're going to eat later. Then we tend to have a problem, because if you skip your meals, you tend to eat more on a second meal that you're going to get, because of that prolonged time period that you've actually fasted. Because some people feel like, no, their bodies needs to undergo fasting. It depends on individuals, really speaking. But in a generalized way, I will want people to eat, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, and supper, just to include the snacks between. So what can we use as our snacks options? Will be your nuts, your seeds, your almonds, depending on whatever you can, afford. Pumpkin seeds, fruits, apples, oranges, small bowl of berries, yogurt, one can use that. Vegetable sticks like your carrots, your celery, bell peppers, hummus, with hummus, of course, just to help you to eat that. It's something that one can do. So let's look at our basket. What is it that you can do? Like somebody now wants to go to the shop now, and they want to, buy grocery. So the first thing is fruits. You're looking at your apples, your pears, your oranges, your bananas. You can include that berries there. Vitamin C, very high. Fiber, very high. So you're sorted. And then vegetables, your broccolis, your carrots, spinach, kale, sweet potatoes, the Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. Now you're sorted. High fiber, you're sorted. You can't go wrong there. Proteins, chicken breast, it can be your beef, it can be your turkey, it can be your tofu, it can be your eggs, it can be your lentils, it can be your beans. That is something that you can include in your basket. And grains, of course, looking at your oats, your brown rice, and your whole bread. And I think if one can actually do that, looking also on your dairy products, you can go into your milk, your yogurt, your cheese, you can include there. Your nuts, like I mentioned, as a part of your snacks. And your pantry staples, you can actually looking at your olive oil, if you can afford it. If you can afford it, go for your canola, go for your sunflower. Just a little bit of it. It doesn't mean that when you buy olive oil, you must pan it. Don't pan it, please. If you pan olive oil, it's the same. You're creating a mess. You're creating a mess.
Yeah.
So olive oil is actually meant only on green vegetables.
Coconut oil?
Coconut oil can still use it. It's not a problem. Vinegar, spices, peanut butter included in there as part of your pantries. Apples and your honey, you can still use it, but don't overdo it. And I think if one can have this particular basket, and then you include your physical activity, then you sleep enough, you limit a lot of stress. One can actually go well with this. But winter 2025 will be the best winter ever.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you
that
so
this
much.
our time is so up and we have to say goodbye. And I'm so guilty
Yes.
because all the time you say, don't overindulge. I'm like, and I do. You talk about honey. Oh, that's me.
Oh, this food is nice. I
Oh,
wouldn't blame you.
especially
But
in
let's
winter.
try. Let's try.
But thank you so much for coming through and educating us this morning.
Yeah.
For family members seeking to talk to you directly, how do we do so?
Okay, I'm still available at Buchilo Private Hospital. I'm sharing a practice there with Katreko Midupi.
Okay.
And we are actually at Soshanguve, 212 Petekan Road. That's our main practice that we are at. We're also there in Wonder Park, PMR clinics, family clinics. We are there. We are there to assist you. Also, you can contact us on our landline of 012-798-7091. And otherwise, you can reach me directly to my number, which is 069-205-9706. So, so that is where you can actually find us and be able to engage with us. We have the Midupi also on 073 490-0757 as a dietitian as well. So if you really want to really start engaging, then of course,
all righty
then. More than welcome to assist you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We still have a long June and July, August. So we are still going to talk to you some more. Thank you so much for that for today. And then we will be engaging with you again. I'm hoping in 2 or 1 week, we'll be engaging with you again. Thank you and have a blessed one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Asbongile, and the beautiful family of ours. I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sir. And family, I'm signing out. You will hear my voice again on Friday from 12 o'clock up until 3 o'clock on Heart to Heart. I am signing out, and may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of our Lord Holy Spirit rest and abide with you now and forevermore. In Jesus' mighty name, amen and amen. I'm going to make sure that Sape does come back. He has to come back to empower us some more. Alrighty then, family. Next up, Germany, Yanni Pelsa,